We're here in Brussels with Arlo Parks. It's so good to see you. Thank you for coming. How are you doing? Let's start off with that.
I feel good. Yeah, I've been very busy, but in a good way.
Tell me.
Festival season's just started. The album came out about 3 weeks ago. So the last 6 days, it's been like 6 countries in 6 days, just like all over the place.
Can you still name them?
Yeah, I can. I feel like I had to think about it. So we went to Austria, back to London, went to Spain, went to Portugal, and then obviously we came here, and then I can't remember what the last one is.
Well, you've done the Netherlands, but that was just before, right?
Yeah.
And so now we're here in Brussels for a very exclusive, very small-scale showcase. I was wondering, do you take a different approach to a small showcase like this compared to, let's say, a 10,000 people main stage?
I don't know. I feel like with a smaller performance, I always try to kind of lean into the intimacy of those spaces. I think there's something really special about really being able to see the look on everyone's faces and feel that energy and like kind of, I don't know, channel the emotion behind each of the songs in a really intentional way.
That fits your music very well too, right?
Yeah.
And so if we swap that around, do you have to do something else with your music if you play in front of a huge crowd?
I guess there's a lot more space to kind of move, and I think that allows me to be a lot more bold, I guess, in the way that I present my music, and especially now that I play guitar on stage, there is a certain energy that comes from a bigger crowd. But I try and, the biggest thing about being a performer is being able to perform to like just one man and his dog, and also to be able to perform to, tens of thousands of people. So you have to bring yourself to every show. Definitely.
So would you say you have a preference for one of the two?
Oh, between the old man and the crowd?
Yeah, probably, yeah. Or between a small crowd and a huge crowd?
I like a small crowd. Honestly, I like a smaller crowd. I think especially in showcases like this where the crowd has been very much curated and it's all people who really kind of enjoy the music and have a passion for it. I think that's really special.
I've read an interview with you from 2020, so that's only 3 years ago, and you set yourself some goals for the next 5 years. Can you remember any of these before you go into them?
No, I don't remember. Do you remember?
Yeah, I think you might like them because the first thing you said is, I once have played in some weird, out-of-style places.
Out of style?
Is there something that, well, not exactly out of style.
Well, I was going to say,
let me make it the literal quote. I want to have played in some weird, out-of-the-way places.
Out of the way.
What is the most out-of-the-way place you've played in the last 3 years?
We played in Hobart, which is at the very tip of Australia, in this extremely random show. It was almost just like a village fair. That's the only way that I could describe it to you. But it was so fun.
So what's the atmosphere like in that kind of place?
Well, the thing is, it's kind of what we were saying before about the small shows, is that even though there weren't that many people there, everyone there was so invested and so grateful that I'd kind of made the time to come to this town. So it was quite fun.
The second thing you said, between 2020 and 5 years later, you said maybe some more collaborations. So of course we've seen you with Phoebe Bridgers, which was amazing. Is there anything else you'd like to do? Maybe you have planned any collaborations that you think this would be amazing for the coming 2 years to do?
There are definitely, my taste in music is so broad that there are so many different people I'd like to work with. But we were talking about Best Kept Secret, and I saw Aphex Twin. And I would love to do something completely unexpected with someone like Aphex Twin, maybe someone like Caribou or Fortet, like leaning into the electronic side. I think that would be cool.
The unexpected side has been a thing that we can see in your new album, right? I mean, you've probably had loads of questions about Devotion, but I'm so curious as to where that sudden explosion of kind of garage rock, 90s rock came from. From what place did that part of your song come? I guess it was so unexpected if you put it next to the things that you did.
But I guess it's just a side of me that always existed, but that I just hadn't shown the world. Like, I've always loved Smashing Pumpkins, I've always loved Deftones, I've always loved Yola Tango and Weezer and like all these 90s bands. And I think my main kind of mission statement when I made Myself Machine was just to like share myself with the world in a sonic way that felt a lot more honest. And the person who I made it with, well, he plays guitar on it, his name's Baird, and he grew up in Baltimore and going to a lot of like basement shows and like, like Turnstile and stuff. And kind of brought a lot of that energy to the song. And it was just natural. Like, it was just 3 friends just like in downtown LA, just pretending we were in a band.
Yeah, and that's the way it felt for me, because it is quite a, well, how would you say it? It was quite unexpected, but it did feel very genuine. I didn't think, oh, you were trying something that didn't really feel close to you. I really believed it.
Yeah,
I'm glad. Would there be anything more like that coming?
Maybe. Who knows? Surprise. You'll see.
The other thing you said is I want to have done 2 full albums in 5 years. You've managed to do that in 2.5?
Yeah.
3?
Yeah, 2.5. I don't even know. What is time, really, if we're being honest?
Sure. It's here now for 3 weeks. How do you feel?
I feel good.
Yeah.
It's mixed feelings. I think when you spend a lot of time working on something in this really kind of insular way, and suddenly you kind of give it away to everyone, there is this mixture between like the fear of, you know, maybe it not being accepted, but also that real excitement and joy when it is accepted by certain people, and then also playing it live. It just takes on many different forms, so it's mixed emotions.
Because I feel the album is very personal, also very introspective, I believe. You know, looking in, seeing what's inside. Have you had the feeling these 3 or 4 weeks that people have accepted that?
Yeah, definitely. And I think even when I think about the music that I love, you know, I don't know, even we were talking about Phoebe listening to a song like Funeral, for example, the fact that she is so open and her heart is completely on her sleeve, and she's talking about this really painful moment in this way that's kind of brutally honest, and people cling on to that, and I clung on to that song because she was that honest. So I hope that people do the same with my music.
Do you ever feel scared writing something thinking, can I do this? Will people relate? Will people understand this?
I guess I try, when I'm writing, I try not to think about anything outside of that room. Because I think you fall into a trap if everything you write, you're like, will people like this? Then you'll just get completely paralyzed by that, and not everyone is gonna like it, so.
So the secret is liking it yourself?
Yeah, you have to love it. That's the only thing that I've held on to as like any kind of ethos. It's like, you have to love it.
Something that I found very cool about this new album is it's very diverse in the sense of where you've been making this album. You've talked a lot about being in LA and writing there, but I've also seen you say I've also written songs in the bedroom at my parents' house. Is there a different way of writing depending on what place you're in?
I think my way of writing stays the same, but the way that the production of the song comes about is very different. When I'm demoing at my parents' house, my resources are super limited. You know, it's just a guitar, got a little interface, maybe I've got a bass, maybe I've got like a little keyboard, and that's it. But then when I'm in the studio with someone like Paul, for example, at the church, there are synths everywhere, percussion from like West Africa and Asia, and it's like, there's a lot more to access. So I think, whilst I like actually write the words and the lyrics in the same way, I have access to different amounts of resources.
When I visit my parents' house, I also get so melancholic. Does that never happen, writing songs? Sometimes,
yeah. It is that interesting kind of nostalgia, I think, being at your parents' house and thinking about what it's like to be a teenager.
Do you know, from the top of your head, a song that you wrote there?
The song that I wrote there? For this record? I feel like I wrote lyrics there, but I don't know if I produced a whole song. Oh, actually, I guess, to be fair, Ghost and Room started off as demos that I made in late 2020. So I guess, yeah.
Which is fitting. I've heard you say in interviews that making albums like filling a part in your heart and then giving it away. Does it ever feel empty? You
My heart?
Letting go of something that you've built inside of you. Is your heart ever empty? No.
I like that though, that's
Do
funny.
you ever think you give this part of you away and then you get left behind? It's somebody else's now and not yours anymore.
Well, I don't know, it's like a gift in a way, right? There's like pleasure in the giving, and it also leaves space to make something new.
I've also seen you say that when making an album you get these bursts of both excitement and inspiration. So you get these bursts of inspiration while making an album. Is that where your book comes from? Because I've seen you announce a book.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because I would say that the songs are where the bursts of inspiration come from, and the poetry is almost everything in between. Like it's the thoughts that I haven't quite pieced together, it's the stream of consciousnesses, it's the parts of my writing that are a bit more unfiltered. And I guess I wanted to make a book to kind of document the whole journey of my soft machine, rather than just the finished products having the poetry that didn't quite make it into the record or kind of formed a little piece of the stories that you hear in the album.
So there's artists that do outtakes, B-sides, things that didn't exactly get to the album. So this is kind of like that, but in like a different vessel, actually, to put that out into the world.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you say anything more about what we can expect in this book? Is there anything super unexpected, something that we haven't seen before from you?
Super unexpected. I don't know if anything's particularly unexpected in the book. I think something interesting is that I kind of include the lyrics in there as well, and you can kind of see little trails between lyrics that I've written and little fragments of the poetry, and they kind of melt into each other. And obviously there are photographs in there that my best friend's taken, which is nice to kind of have a collaboration that's that specific.
It mostly sounds like more, even a deeper connection with your fans and the people that love you.
Yeah, I hope so.